You'd think that the smartest person in the room would also be the richest, right? It just makes sense. The person who aced every test, who just gets things faster than anyone else, shouldn't they be rolling in it? Well, it seems logical, but when you actually look at the research, you find something else entirely, something that's kind of fascinating. So let's just get right to it. This is the central puzzle we're going to tackle today. Because believe it or not, study after study confirms this really surprising disconnect between someone's IQ and their actual net worth. It's a paradox that kind of flips one of our biggest assumptions about success right on its head. And look, this isn't just some random idea or a hunch. This is a direct quote from Dr. Zagorsky. He's a researcher who spent years digging into the data from thousands of people, and his conclusion was crystal clear. A high IQ doesn't get you a pass to wealth, and it definitely doesn't make you immune to financial problems. So, what is going on here? Let's break it down.
All right, the very first key to cracking this whole thing open is getting one simple but crucial distinction right. It's something most of us mix up all the time. We have to understand that income is not the same thing as wealth, not even close.
Okay, so income is a flow. It's the money coming in, your paycheck, your business revenue, whatever. The best way to picture it, think of a faucet. The water pouring out, that's your income. You can have a really powerful flow, a ton of water coming out. But wealth, or your net worth, that's different. It's a stock. It's not the water flowing from the faucet. It's the water that's actually collected in the bathtub. It's what you own, your savings, your house, your investments, minus everything you owe. And here's the kicker. Just because you have a powerful faucet doesn't mean you're going to have a full tub. And seeing them side by side like this makes it super clear. You can earn a huge income, that powerful stream of water. But if you spend it all, if the drain is wide open, that tub never ever fills up. On the flip side, someone with a pretty average income can build up serious wealth over time just by saving and investing smartly. So the big takeaway is simple. A high income is what you earn. High wealth is what you keep. So, what's the actual link between IQ and that income faucet? Well, the research puts the correlation right around here, 0.23. Now, in the world of statistics, that's what we call a positive but pretty weak relationship. It means, yeah, smarter people tend to earn a little bit more on average, but it is a way smaller advantage than you'd probably guess. And this is really the heart of the matter. That tiny little edge in income, it just doesn't seem to translate into more water in the bathtub. When researchers look at actual net worth, the smartest people, as a group, are often doing no better than people with totally average intelligence. So why does that income advantage just vanish? I love this quote because it paints such a perfect picture. You think about it, a university is just packed with high IQ people, right? Professors, researchers, brilliant minds everywhere. But, as the saying goes, when you walk through the faculty parking lot, you're going to see a lot of old Hondas and Toyotas, not a bunch of luxury cars. It's the perfect little reminder that there's way more to this story than just brainpower. Okay, so if a high IQ isn't the magic ticket to building wealth, then what is? Well, that leads us right to our second clue. All the critical skills and traits that are essential for financial success, that an IQ test doesn't even begin to measure. See, building wealth isn't like solving a math problem. It's a game of behavior. It takes stuff like emotional resilience, so you don't panic and sell when the market drops. It takes a certain appetite for risk, the social skills to build a network, and just plain old motivation and hard work. And sometimes it's just dumb luck. But maybe most importantly, it's about having different values and priorities in the first place. In fact, being super intelligent can sometimes work against you. There's this thing called analysis paralysis. A really smart person might see a business opportunity and immediately think of 12 different ways to approach it, and 10 reasons why each of those 12 ways could fail. They get so stuck thinking and researching that they never actually do anything. Someone in a Mensa discussion forum put it, well, a little more bluntly, but you get the idea. The point is, the game of getting rich often rewards taking action and calculated risks, sometimes pretty bold risks, way more than it rewards just sitting back and being the smartest person in the room. So, we've got income isn't wealth, and we know that other skills are vital. But there is a third clue that researchers have found, and it's a little darker. It turns out that certain personality traits, and not always the nice ones, have a surprising link to a person's financial drive. Psychologists talk about this combination of traits they call the Dark Triad. It's made up of three things. First, narcissism, which is that sense of superiority and entitlement. Second, Machiavellianism, which is a tendency to manipulate people for your own self-interest. And third, psychopathy, which is marked by things like impulsivity and a real lack of empathy for others. Okay, now this is where it gets really, really weird. A recent study looked at how these traits relate to how people manage their money. And just look at these results. The group that had the absolute worst money management skills, it was people who were super materialistic. They wanted all the stuff, but had low levels of those dark triad traits. But get this. The people with low materialism but high dark triad traits, they were actually better with their money.
So what does this all mean? Well, it suggests that just wanting a lot of expensive things without having that cold, strategic personality to go get it can actually lead to really bad financial decisions. The psychological toolkit for getting rich, for some people, might involve a strategic, self-interested, and sometimes manipulative approach that has absolutely nothing to do with IQ.
Okay, let's pull it all together. We've looked at the clues, the income versus wealth trap, the skills that really matter, and the surprising role of personality. It's time to solve the puzzle. The solution really boils down to three main things. First, the goal is different. Building wealth isn't an academic test. It's a game of behavior, risk, and luck. Second, the tools you need to win are different. It's not about raw brain power, it's about social skills, resilience, and personality. And finally, number three, the values are different. A lot of very smart people simply don't define winning as having the most money. They might be chasing knowledge, or a sense of purpose, or just a quiet life. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. The reason the smartest person in the room isn't always the richest is because a lot of the time, they're not even playing the same game. They're on a totally different field with a totally different scoreboard, one that measures things like discovery, impact, and fulfillment, not just dollars and cents. Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. If being the smartest doesn't automatically make you rich, and being rich definitely doesn't mean you're the smartest, it kind of forces us all to take a step back and think about how we define success for ourselves. So, what's the game you're playing? And what does winning actually look like to you?